The market is making a ton of money for investors, and this week there's a lot of opportunities for you to make a lot of cash. In this video, I'm going to be covering SoFi, Palantir, Nvidia, and Tesla, and how we can make a ton of money in this amazing market right now. So let's get started with Palantir. Currently, Palantir is absolutely skyrocketing towards $190 per share. And let me tell you, the technicals look very good. One of the factors that I'm personally looking for is momentum. Momentum is one of the best factors that you can look at as an investor. If you're looking to make money quickly, easily, and predictably, it's by looking at the trend. The trend for Palantir is the most clear trend I've literally ever seen. Look, Palantir has gone from $154 per share in just like the past 1 month to $186 per share. And right now it's looking like the stock is going to hit $200 per share. The market cap is absolutely wild. Like, this stock is currently valued more than IBM, than Cisco. It's because the execution on Palantir is absolutely amazing. They're executing on the government side, on the commercial side, and they're making a lot of money that's consistent and sustainable. That's one of the most important factors I look at when I invest in a stock. The reason why I personally like Palantir is because they are profiting and benefiting from the government. Right now, there's a lot of conflict in the world, and there's a lot of defense spending. Governments are spending a ton of money on defense because it's necessary. It's needed for security. And Palantir is involved in making a lot of government revenue. But the commercial revenue is growing faster than the government contracts for the first time. So right now, we're basically in an exponential trend. This trend is we're making a ton of money from government side, and now we're making even more money from the commercial side. That's how you know this isn't just a defense company anymore. It's becoming an AI operating system for the private sector. Now, I believe personally that Palantir is going to be worth $200 per share. And if you've been subscribed to my channel, you have been making a ton of money because I've been right on the dot. This bull market has been an amazing opportunity. So if you're looking to retire, if you're looking for income, this is the time right now to take calculated risk. This is what I'm doing personally. I'm making calculated bets on which stocks are going to go up. For me, it's all about making money at the proper risk level, right? So I'm not putting all my eggs in one basket. I'm not only investing in Palantir. We have several other stocks I'm going to be covering, the ones that I'm holding in my portfolio. But I think having 10% of your money in Palantir is an absolute no-brainer. Like, if you want to scale, this is the stock to be in. Palantir isn't just an AI company. It's literally democratizing AI, and it's making it possible for companies to use AI at scale. Most enterprise platforms still gate AI behind technical teams, but with Palantir's AIP, Palantir literally hands over the keys. Guys, they're literally giving the keys over to business operators. This is worth a ton of money for these operators. Now, anyone on the front lines can interact with powerful models using plain language. This is what real enterprise AI adoption looks like. So if you want to make money this week, you clearly need to follow the trend. That's all you have to do. Palantir right now at 186, we're probably going to see $200 per share within the next 1 to 2 weeks. That means as an investor, although the stock is up a lot, you can still make 5%. Now, me personally, I believe that Palantir still has a decent risk-adjusted return. I want to show you the summary right now. One thing that I personally will point out that most investors just don't understand. They literally make this mistake. They miss out on all of the gains on a stock because they believe a stock is overvalued by looking at the PE ratio. I just have to drive this lesson home that the PE ratio is absolutely nonsense for a fast-growing company. You see, when a company is growing super fast, the PE is going to be high. Like, remember Tesla. Tesla had 1,000 PE. Amazon, 1,000 PE. And that's completely normal because the PE ratio can go down very quickly, especially as the company earns more. Like right now, I'm going to go to the statistics tab, and you will see that in 1 year from now, if everything goes according to plan for Palantir, according to what analysts currently believe, the PE ratio will go from 600 to 294. So right now, I want to point out that this is one of the biggest opportunities that you can invest in. And I'm going to end it off with Palantir. We'll move over to SoFi, which is another stock that I absolutely love. Palantir's unique strength is virtually no competition. Like, literally, if you have no competition, that's how you actually make all the money. It's not about being the actual good company or the best company. It's about having no competition. Really, that's how it is actually. Although being a good company and all that is also very important, of course. But I'm just pointing out that when you have no competition, you basically have a monopoly. When you have a monopoly, you can make big outsized returns. And making big outsized returns is, of course, what drives the stock's value. Now, let's move over into SoFi stock and let's discuss why this stock is also an absolute monster. And this week, I think this is like the most urgent news that you can kind of look into, is that SoFi had earnings not that long ago. And they've actually had a little bit of instability. If you look at investors, they've had a little bit of, uneasy emotions, we can say. So in the past 1 month, we've had some volatility, but we're still up 10%. So even if there's some uncertainty, SoFi is still growing very steadily. Of course, 10% in 1 month. Like, who does not want 10% in 1 month? That's just amazing. Now, one of the issues that I've covered, but I want to briefly cover one more time, is the dilution of shares, because many investors will panic and they think that as soon as a company raises more shares or equity or debt, right? In SoFi's case, they issued $750 million in convertible notes. And if you kind of translate that to me, it's really not random dilution. This was really a smart move by raising capital at low interest rates without really destroying any shareholder value. And I personally believe that they did this for a very good reason, and the management at SoFi is very intelligent. So why did they do this? It's to accelerate product expansion, to fuel growth without really relying on external banks. And I think that's really good, right? Now, look, to stay ahead in AI and private investing race, they need to have cash on hand. It's very, very necessary. Now, dilution does hurt when companies raise, money for no good reason. They start spending that money, like for dumb things, but that's just definitely not the case with SoFi. So let's quickly zoom out. Let me tell you where I see SoFi headed. Personally, this stock is easily $30 stock within the next 6 months. The PE ratio is 44, which is pretty good. Of course, the S&P is around 25-ish. So we're a little bit higher, but it's not that much higher given how much SoFi is growing. So if we zoom out, SoFi still owns its own bank charter, which is, by the way, a huge cost advantage. They still have the member and product growth, which is amazing, right? They had 800,000 members sign up. Do you understand that 800,000 members signing up means that all of these members are going to be upgrading and cross-selling into different products? So once they do that, SoFi is just going to make a ton of money. Right now, for SoFi, it's all about acquisition, right? Their cost of acquisition, or CAC, right? Their cost of acquisition is very low. So because it's so low, they're able to drive in a lot of customers in the door, and then they have a brilliant model of upselling. They're upselling literally better than any other fintech company in the game, hands down. So that's what makes SoFi so strong and why it has a bright future, and why I think this week we're probably going to still see more action. This market is very conducive to making money. So I want to let you guys know that I have a Discord community where I do coaching Mondays and Wednesdays. You probably already heard of it. But in my community, it's very different because I'm looking at opportunities to invest, and I'm looking at the deeper story of long-term growth. So I think that's what sets me apart from really a lot of other investors, is I focus on risk management and the long-term story. It's not about short-term trading for me. Guys, it's all about long-term passive income. That's exactly what my goal is to have that freedom to travel, to support your family and to have freedom. So that's what I want for you guys as well. If you're, interested in that, it's always the first link in the description. We have a few more spots available. Now, look, to talk about SoFi and kind of wrap it up here and go into Tesla, the next stock, is I want to compare SoFi quickly to something like a Robinhood, right? So they don't really have the infrastructure risk. When you look at Robinhood or PayPal, they don't have infrastructure risk, whereas SoFi does. However, SoFi gets the full spread because they're the bank. So I think that as long as we stay out of a crash, which I don't personally see, right? I think we're in a very strong market. SoFi is going to continue to do well. And you'll see the stock hit $30 per share basically in the next, reasonable amount of time. Now, next, I want to talk about Tesla. Tesla, I have a bit more mixed feelings about it. And this stock, I just want to say that they recently, they did something interesting. So they killed their $1 billion plus Dojo supercomputer project. But it's not really because it failed. They're just doubling down on partnerships with Samsung, NVIDIA, and AMD to speed up AI and robotaxi development. Now, I think this is really smart because basically Tesla wants to go where the money's at, right? They want to make a bet that really pays off big. And I respect that about Elon Musk. And I also like that about Tesla. Now, that's one of the biggest things that they've recently done that I think is going to drive shareholder value. Okay, robo taxis, they're also doing pretty well. Their testing is expanding in Texas, and once they go commercial, this could be Tesla's biggest money printer since the Model 3. So I can really see Tesla going to $400 per share, but we're definitely going to experience some more volatility because Tesla, just like technically on the technical chart, it does not have the same growth as the other stocks that I'm covering or the next stock that I'm covering either. It just doesn't really have that momentum. So investors are just finding other opportunities elsewhere in the market and they're making more money elsewhere. And that's fine, right? But if you look at the future, will Tesla destroy or crush it for investors? Will they do well? I believe so. I believe they're going to do well. I'm not as bullish on Tesla as I am on the next stock or the other 3 stocks that I previously covered because of kind of like EV competition really heating up. If you look at BYD, they are crushing Tesla in Europe, but Tesla is betting on India and autonomy. And I think India is a really huge market. I have personally, I have a lot of Indian clients, and yeah, there's just I talk to them, my one-on-one coaching, and I realized that I think India is a challenging market, but it's a growing market. It's growing very fast, and GDP is growing quickly in India. So I do think that there is opportunity there, and Tesla can do well in India. Also, one thing that I'm kind of less certain about with Tesla, and being a little bit bearish here, I'm giving you the bearish side because I'm trying to give you the objective truth of how you can invest properly. Well, I've looked at like the used Tesla prices, and they're actually like at record lows, which could actually flood the road with more Teslas. It's a good and bad thing, right? Because I think people that are looking at buying new Teslas, they may be worried that their Tesla might depreciate a lot in value, which is true, right? That can absolutely happen. So right now, I'm pretty moderately bullish on Tesla. I think we'll hit $400 per share, but not as easily or grow as fast as some of the other stocks. And right now, I think the valuation is pretty fair. Okay, let's go over NVIDIA. And by the way, just in general, like my view on the market is that we're in a bull market. GDP is going to continue to grow, interest rates are going to go down, and that's going to be very good news for SPY, and it's also going to be very good news for QQQ. Specifically, QQQ or tech stocks, right, NASDAQ has more tech stocks, they perform better and they do a lot better in low interest environments because tech companies have massive future earnings, right? These tech companies are growing very quickly. If you lower interest rates today, that means that all those future cash flows are going to be worth more when you discount them to the present day. That's all finance is, right? Finance is all about the cash flow and what the cash is worth, right? That's it. It's the study of money, right? So if you look at the cash flow of all these companies, because they have massive cash flows in the future, a lower interest rate today means that those cash flows are worth more, because when there's a high interest rate, then those cash flows are worth less because interest, basically, that's how it works, right? So NVIDIA, let's talk about NVIDIA. It's currently at $182 per share. It's up 14% in the last month. Guys, we've been making money hand over fist, hand over fist, we've been making money. I'm really proud of you guys that are taking action, that are investing properly. If your portfolio is growing, all I ask really is just subscribe to the channel because I'm going to keep making you some more money. I'm going to keep showing you how to grow your wealth. That's all I ask. So I think NVIDIA, look at the valuation, guys. Valuation is very reasonable. NVIDIA is only trading at like 17, 18 times 2028 earnings. If you look at the data center plus automotive plus healthcare and AI, they're basically like entire infrastructure and massive opportunity for making money. Now, another interesting thing that I will point out is that NVIDIA is actually buying back shares, which actually makes you money. You are literally making money because when NVIDIA buys back shares, they're creating a positive supply and demand. Okay, you guys know economics 101. When there's less supply, there's more demand. NVIDIA, when it buys back shares, there is less shares afloat, meaning there's just less shares. So the price is going to go up. That's what's going to happen this week, next month, next year. NVIDIA is going to grow. And when I look at their competition, there's some competition, but NVIDIA still controls 90% of the training compute for Gen AI. They also have 80% plus of inference computing in production AI models. So really, NVIDIA is the play, and they sell the shovels in the AI gold rush, and it basically owns the whole gold mine as well. So you should watch out, really, for just continued growth for NVIDIA. Now, me specifically, I think this is going to be a stock that's going to be a $5 trillion market cap. And I said that like literally a month or two ago. So again, everything's going according to plan. We're in a strong market. I think Palantir, SoFi, NVIDIA are going to grow quickly. Tesla will also see some growth, but maybe not as much as the others. And the general market is very strong. Like I'm looking at picking more stocks, like especially ones that sold off. I personally like Walmart. Walmart's at $103 per share now. Archer has had a big pullback, so this stock is also presenting an opportunity. Robinhood doing very well at $114 per share. I'm actually planning to cover Robinhood and the opportunity that I continue to see there in my next video. So yeah, I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Make sure to hit that link in the description for some coaching one-on-one and all my trades. And let's make some money this week.